Hello, Isaac here with Nodisio. Today I wanted to show you how you can build your own AI content producer, either from my pre-made templates or piecing together your own favorite AI tools, all in an easy-to-use automation sequence without any coding skills at all. And we're going to be using Make.com to set up this automation scenarios, as they call it, and we use OpenAI's GPT-4 Turbo API as our AI model, and then Google Sheets and Google Docs as our start data, and then we're going to post in WordPress. And that's my setup, but you could change posting into Docs, or you could use Microsoft Excel as a start point. But this is my setup if you want to start from this. And this type of writer has a great flexibility. I've written articles, scripts for videos, longer social media posts, and even reviews with it. Performs great in search results if you want that for SEO for a website. And you really get some helpful content out of this with lists, tables, you name it. And something I really like with this is that tomorrow, if there's a new AI model or there's a new image generator or even video generator now, you can easily just switch that in and start experimenting with integrating it in your setup like you want it. And that's not possible with if you buy a SEO Surfer's AI writer, you have to wait for them to integrate it. That's something that's really great with this type of writer. Okay, so if you want this template and blueprint for Make.com, you can download it for free in the link in the description. And then also I have a link to sign up for Make.com. Great platform. I've had no issues with it. You can also use something like Zapier, but I think Make.com is the easier choice to get started with. Okay, and after that, let's get into it. Okay, so let's get this started then. Here we have the Make.com platform where we set up this automation. Just the basics, it's modules, they call it. You set up and you have huge amount of models to work from with some of the biggest Gemini. Yes, Gemini, ChatGPT based modules, based AI models, and just huge amount of connections to make here with everything you can think of. So it's a great tool to set up any type of automations really. And for this one, we're going to quickly go over. We have what you need. You're going to need the OpenAI GPT-4 Turbo API. So this is going to cost for inputs $0.01 per 1,000 tokens, and then for the output 0.03 per 1,000 tokens. Of course, this can vary depending on when you're watching this video, but that's for now what it is. Then after that, there's no costs. You can do it for free if you're not doing huge amounts, but then it's just Google Docs and Google Sheets with the G Drive. Just connect it with your Gmail API or Gmail, your Google account API, and set these up with my template if you want to use your own. And then you have the Make.com. This one is also free actually. You can set up a free account and get up to pretty much. I could make like 10 articles a day before I went to Pro, because it's only like $10, $11 or $12 I think each month. It's not so expensive to go Pro if you want to do a little bit more. Then you have the Ninja Scraper optional, but I would set it up because it's pretty easy to set up, and it's also free. So just go ahead and do that. And then you have the Perplexity. I use this for fact checking after the article is done and you have something you want to check from ChatGPT if it's really a great fact or not. Perplexity is a good one where you can just put in the statement that GPT got out, and it's gonna search for an article or for a science paper or whatever that's stated that is in fact a fact. So that's a good one for after you're done with the article. So that's what you need. And then you need to set up this with API connections with your Gmail account and your ChatGPT account and Ninja Scraper. And then I use WordPress to post them. But you can of course post in a Google Doc, or if you're using it to do like a social media post or something, you can connect LinkedIn or whatever. But WordPress is what I'm using. And I'm not going to show you how to set up these API connections, because Make.com says they themselves have great tutorials. As if you just click on all these modules, you can see tutorials here, online help on how to set up and use these modules with the connections and so on. So I'm going to go right in on how this works, this specific automation sequence, I think they call it. So for this, we have the step 1, step 2, and then step 3 is the full length of the article. In step 1, we're just making the outline. In step 2, that's optional. If you're writing from a website, this is a really good one, because you can take the outline we have created in step 1 with the headings, and we can attach links to other pages on our website under the relevant headings. But if you're not writing for a website, if you're like social media posts, something like that, this step can just be skipped. And then for step 3, you have the whole complete writer that takes the outline we're creating, put into a doc. It then takes that with our starting data from our sheet and passes it through ChatGPT, that makes it section by section. So section by section here. 1, 2, 3, and so on. All the way. Here I've put up 25 steps as a maximum, but you can, of course, extend this to however long you want. So those are the 3 steps. So to start it off, I'm going to go into our Google Sheet that we have saved here, that you set up with your first step here. You just have your connection, you select it from your drive, you choose it from your maps, and then I've chosen to filter for the client name, so my first row here, and it searches for the client name that I want to write for right now, and takes this row and pushes it through with the information here for a writer to take information from. So we're going to fill this in. I've already filled this in. Client name first, the company or entity or whatever that we want to write for. You have info on the company, which I take from our front page here, which has relevant info about us that a writer can pass through and take to reference, and also for some style and stuff like that. Then right now I wanted to make an article for marketing automation, so I have this as my main keyword. But this could of course be whatever. If you're writing a review or a social media post, just like the main theme of and main title of the piece you want to write. Words 4,000. This is more like a guidance. It's not going to stop at 4,000. It's just like what we want it to be around. And the headings, I put 23. 25 is my maximum, and 23 I thought would be a good one for this piece. And then we have the best competition article, like a goal content piece that we want to take inspiration from, like we do when we write usually. I found this one, a blog post from the Digital Marketing Institute, where they write about marketing automation, that I think is quite good, and I want my writer to take inspiration from. So that's that column. And then we have language, of course. English, I have written in Japanese and Swedish and stuff like that, and it's a great. It switches pretty great and does great content for all languages I've tried. So it's a great option to have. And then we have the image prompt. This one makes suggestions in the end. 2 suggestions for AI images to put in a specific section of my content. This one is like a substitute for actual image generation, which I want to integrate later, but it's not quite there yet. This is like the instructions for a suggestion prompt that I'm going to show later in the finished product. Then we have a comment with some instructions for the outline. here I just put in like if I want some step-by-step or lists in the headings, and a little bit style for the outline, short and straight to the point. I try and keep my headings. And then you have the optional part here, sitemap, if you're writing for a website or somewhere where you want to link to other stuff you have. You can put in the sitemaps here, which is just a list of the pages on my website, which are not so many right now. And then it knows what other pages I have, so it puts in links under the headings, which it thinks is relevant to link to my other pages, which is a really good feature. And then you just have a tone prompt here, where you can put in a little bit what tone and style you want to get from the writer, and then also a slug for the WordPress if you want. But if you don't put in anything here, it's just going to put a random number or something. So that's fine to keep empty. I think that's all for this one. Okay, so then we'll just press start for this first step. Run down here. And I've already done this to prepare, but here we have the output. I think we got a pretty good outline here with some steps. And of course some H2 with H3 skate formatting for SEO purposes, strategies. Case studies is going to be a hard one, so maybe I'll switch that out. And then here we have the information taken from our website with some style and what we do, so it can reference. And of course the best takeaways as well from our goal content piece. So this is everything that our last step is going to have access to make a more custom AI writer with each step here. So let's see, I'm going to make a few small changes here. Okay, so we're back. I shifted a few headings around and added some recommended marketing tools. Of course, it's not perfect outline you're getting, but so if you want a little bit more of my customization, I like to do this to edit it a bit before sending it through. Stuff like 2023, it said before, so it's not perfect, but it's quite good. So let's send this through to the next step where we make the internal links, so the optional step. If you're not planning on posting on a website, you can skip this step. But we're doing that now, so let's show this one. So this one goes through your sitemap, which has the list of all of your available or published posts, and has access to them, and then it takes the outline we have here and looks at it and adds the links to posts that are relevant to headings, is what I'm saying to the ChatGPT with a prompt. So that's what we're gonna test. Let's try and run this, see if we have the correct starting point. No, we do not. Let's change this to Node SEO. Okay, let's run it. And it's going to post this in here as well. So this is also something you have to change if you want to get all of this in a line and not look and cut in each step as I do and look and see if it's great. Then you have to make a new post with this Google Doc instead of having it in the same one and sending it through. And also you need to, if you're doing this one, you need to post over. What I'm doing now is I'm just adding it here, as you can see here. And then I'm just picking what I think is good and I just move it up here and send it through. But if you want to have this in a straight line, you need to make this save over what we already have here, or make a new one. So that's a slight adjustment. Let's see here what we got. Personalized customer experience. And we have the SEO and UX. It's a pretty good one, but that's an article I have in Swedish, so I can't have that one. SEO strategy, that's an explore SEO strategies. Yeah, that could work, could have some relevance there. for this link to be under this heading. Let's see how what it adds there. Let's see that when we get the finished result, and then we have AI machine learning. This is also a Swedish article. Of course, this works way better if you have a lot of articles on your site, because now I only have a few because we are quite new agency. Okay, that's all I'm going to put through there. So I'm just gonna copy this, delete this, and I'm going to change this. So the only thing we really need to have when we send this through is this formatting for H3. Oh, I see it's wrong here for some reason. That's strange. This formatting for the headings with the numbers correctly. So if we have that correctly, it's going to work in the writer in the third and last step. So I think we're ready to get that going. Yes. Let's move our start arrow here to our last step. And let's see if this one is correctly. No, let's try RDCO as a start. What sheet row is going to start in, and then we have that. Okay, so let's do the third and last step here. So this is the full writer we're starting here. This is the step that's going to cost between 2 and 3 euro if we're doing like a 4,000 word article as we're doing now. And for this one, we have our start data that we went through earlier, but we also have our prompt settings for the writer. This is another one I'm doing. So you can change some of the prompt you putting through in all of this, in all of these writer steps. So you don't have to change them in every step here. This is the heading 1 step, heading 2 step, heading 3 steps, and so on. And here you have links to our Excel, not Excel, but Google Sheet here that we can change the settings. Here I have instructions for how to format with HTML and the list format. And here is some instruction for the last step, which I'm going to show you what it puts out. But it puts out some suggestions for royalty-free images or AI images that you can easily just add for the section it thinks it fits in. So this is also another great Excel to have, to be able to change the settings for the writer steps here. And I think this is it's an easy way to do this, because I have seen other people do these automations, and they do some a bit more complicated stuff with iterations and with tools with more like a little bit more of a code setup with iterations and some text parsers and some data storage, fancy stuff. But I just think that adding complexity is, of course, you can do that, but it makes it a bit harder to have other people work with it and to make changes later. So I think this is a good balance between complexity and automation, if you see what I mean with that. Okay, enough of that. Let's just try and get this started and come back when this is going to take like probably almost 20 minutes, I think, to get all of these stages, all of this done. Let's see, this is right. It's posting right. Okay, let's start. See what we get. As you see, pushing through all of these steps, and every step has full access to what the steps before have in them. So that's why you're passing information through all of these steps. Okay, let's come back when this is all ready. Okay, so a quick side note before we check out the finished products. I wanted to show, I said before, you can switch out to like Claude or Gemini or whichever model you want to use. But what we have to do is we have to go with the turbo. We have to have enough of the tokens for it to be able to process this amount of text that we're putting in. We're putting in all of the article that comes before with the context and the outline and stuff like the regular GPT-4 and the GPT 3.5 and stuff like that doesn't have enough tokens to be able to process this. You couldn't put this in a regular ChatGPT window or chat. Okay, we're back, finished. Took about 15 minutes or something, and I haven't edited this anything yet. And we're going to convert blocks there, and here we have it. I have it as a generated marketing automation for a title here, and as you see, it has the formats. This is suggestions for manual additions. It's the AI image suggestions I talked about before. They are here. So they say for the section, and they say which section of the article. They write the things we should put an AI image with this prompt. So then I just put this into ChatGPT and make an image, and then just edit a bit or use it as it is. So we get 2 of those, and then we get some suggestions for royalty-free images. And then we also have the meta title and the meta description suggestions. Those are the last steps that it does. The writer, this is this step that it routes to before it publishes. So it looks at the whole previous article and make these suggestions for adding manually after. These could also, of course, make however you want them. You can change in the settings here. Okay, and then we have the article, the H1 here, an introduction, and then a table with some section and some key information for it. I like to do this for some of my articles. This is the first step here, or this is the first step, and then you have the table, so you can delete this if this is something you do not want. This is just like a summary of each section, and then we have the article. This internal link seems to have been put in a few places. Not quite working when you don't have so much pages, as I said before. But here you see we have the correct formatting, H2s here. And then we should have an H3 here with the automated strategies. H3, yes. And we have some exactly lists, bullet lists, and number list. And we have another numbers list. Another numbers list. It can be a little bit that it does the same type of format, but it's usually pretty good. Here we have 5 of them, like a step. So often it's a little bit long for some reason, so I like to just shorten it down a bit. If it like summarizes each section, I take that off and stuff like that. Here we can see crucial role of automation in modern marketing, and it says key roles, and you have a table here. That's quite good. Another table here. Here we have the step-by-step guide. Let's see how this one goes. Summarization with steps here. And then we go into each step. So selecting the right automation. Here it says platform A, platform B. So here we have to put in our own recommendations then for platforms to use, which here comes the user skills in and the user knowledge in. Of course, you always have to have some of that human touch. And then later here, I have the recommended marketing automation tools. It also did like kind of a summarization first. And then we have the H3s with the tools. And here, of course, we need to put in some of our own expertise. But this usually has some info about the company, so you can make some type of review or information about these. Okay, so let's just really quickly go through what we've done here. We have started with instruction in the sheet, created an outline for a content piece, posted that outline in the docs, passed it through, and created the article section by section, and posted it, in my case, in WordPress, but you could do it in your preferred platform there. And you can do it in any language. Formatting is taken care of. takes inspiration from your style and also from a goal article. And you needed GPT-4 Turbo for using my blueprints, and Docs, Sheets, Make.com, Ninja Scraper, and Perplexity after now to fact check is my preferred choice. And all are free except GPT, then the API, which you need to sign up for and pay per token. And the biggest pros for this, I think, is the structure and the main thread through the whole article compared to many other AI writers, that it's highly flexible. You can switch out the AI models and where you post it, and add image generation or video generation later. Just flexible and adaptable. And of course, no code is a great, really great to have in your, if you have like an agency and stuff, I can just teach this to anyone in my team. And it's an easy process to do so. It's also quite cheap, under 3 USD for 4,000 words, and it's pretty great words in my experience. And also, of course, you learn how to build automations, sequences. That is just a great skill to have coming up, and of course right now as well. And the cons takes a little bit more time than like buying a SEO server or any other AI writer. But after setting it up, it is a huge time saver and flexible, as I said. But if no coding experience, API connections can also be quite a pain. But when you get through them, it's a great tool to have. Also to know how APIs work. And at Nodisio, you can download in the description our blueprint that I showed you with the sheets and the whole blueprint for the Make.com AI or the Make.com sequence, the automation. We're giving it away for free. So just sign up for the download and you should get it. And then, of course, Make.com, also link in the description to sign up there. Great platform. I haven't had any issues with it this far. And then at Nodisio, we offer great digital marketing services for your business to just make it grow. We have a lot of great people on our team and some great strategies. So if you're looking for something like that, just hit us up. And of course, automations. If you want help with setting these up for yourself in your own company, we have done them all. We've done social media posts, emails, automatic answering, and the customer service, and you name it. So just hit us up, and we will discuss that as well. Thank you, and hope you enjoyed this quick tutorial.